so much. President Biden campaigned on a promise to stay true to the spirit of transparency. Why then, how is it possible that the White House did not reveal the presence of these documents prior to the election when they were found?
Again, the president spoke to this personally yesterday. You heard him at the press conference. He laid out what he knew, and he talked about how important and how he sees this as a serious matter when it comes to classified documents and information. He talked about about how he was surprised to learn about the records that had been found there.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And he laid out his process and his thoughts. I'm just not going to go beyond that. Again, we released information that was very transparent, meaning the information that you all got received from the White House counsel's office. And I know you all are going to have a lot of questions. I get that and I understand that, but I'm not going to go beyond the process that's currently happening at the DOJ.
Does it undercut the president's promise of transparency that these documents were not revealed for several months after the White House discovered them?
But look, you know, so when his lawyers realized that these documents were there, they turned them over to the archives. They did the right thing. They turned them over. All I can say is what the president said yesterday. I would refer to his comments. But they did the right thing by, once they learned of them, they turned it over. They turned it over to the archives. Again, that's the question. I understand the question, but there is an ongoing process. It's being reviewed by the Department of Justice. Just when it is appropriate for us to say more, we will. Otherwise, I would refer you to the White House counsel's office.
I do want to be very clear about something you said, make sure I understand you. Following up on one of my colleagues who asked you, you have not spoken to the president about this? Weren't you traveling with him when he made this public statement?
The way I heard the question is, have you talked to the president about the documents? And he doesn't know what's in the documents. That's the way I heard the question, so that's the way I was answering the question.
Talk to him about the revelation of these documents.
Yes, we've talked about the CBS story. We talked about the revelation of the documents. Obviously, but about the documents itself, what's in them, that is something that the president doesn't even know, and I'm just going to leave it there.
Okay, has he conveyed to you when he was briefed, and if not, can you go back and get that answer?
I've not talked to the president about that. What I can tell you is I know you all have a lot of questions. There is an ongoing process here, and so I'm just going to let the process move forward.
I want to let you respond to former Vice President Mike Pence, who talked about what he and his mother Republicans are calling a double standard with the Department of Justice. Mr. Pence said the kind of double standard that we see being practiced by the Biden administration in the wake of this incident in the Justice Department, I think is exactly what undermines public confidence in our justice system.
Again, as soon as his lawyers realized these documents were there, they did the right thing and they turned over the documents to the archivists. That's what they did as soon as they realized the documents were there. And his team is cooperating fully with the review. Again, there's a review happening by the DOJ, and we're just going to let the process move forward.
Well, we're waiting. On the documents case, again, you've laid out that the president's lawyers and the special counsel are dealing with the legal side of this. You've now laid out that you have not had a conversation with the president about this. But this was reported Monday. It happened in November. Are you aware of any conversation in the West Wing among others, people other than the president, about disclosing this once it was discovered?
What I can say is I was asked by your colleague if we talked about the documents themselves. The president said he does not know what was in them, right?
Okay.
But also just wanted to clear that up. I understand you guys are going to have a lot of questions on this. I get that. I know you guys are going to have a lot of questions on process and specifics. And what I can tell you is that I'm not going to go beyond what the president laid out. I'm not going to go beyond what my White House counsel colleagues have stated. I would refer you to them for any other specifics or additional information. I want to be prudent here. I want to make sure that we do this in the appropriate way.
We're going to ask them because That's our job.
I understand,
So
and my job is to answer your
so
questions,
go.
so here we go,
One of the
let's
reasons
go.
we asked this is because on like day 2 of this administration, when he swore all of you in, the president said, quote, "I'm going to make mistakes. When I make them, I'll acknowledge them, and I'll tell you, and I'll need your help to help me correct them." So you're the one here
Yeah,
talking
and
to us about this. That's why we're asking you. So let's just remember that. When
Ed,
he was
Ed,
asked yesterday-
we don't need to have this, we work very well together.
We do.
We don't need to have this kind of confrontation. Ask your question, and I will answer them the best that I can.
Part of the reason we're laying that out is because you're laying out your part of the job.
I
We're laying
know,
out our part of the job.
I know,
which
but
is
I'm
to
just
ask the
saying that we
questions.
don't
And
need to
know there
have
are people who
contention,
will be
you don't need to be
watching
contentious
when-
with me here, Ed.
The president was asked yesterday, but did not answer this part of the question. Why didn't he or someone in the White House inform the American people when these documents were discovered on November 2nd? Did it have anything to do, because people are asking this part of it, did it have anything to do with the fact that the election was just a few days away?
Again, Ed, this is under review by the Department of Justice. It is literally under review right now. As I am talking to you, it is under review. So I'm not going to get beyond the process. I'm not going to get beyond what the president said. Look, the White House counsel, my colleagues in the White House counsel, laid out a very detailed information about what this particular issue on Monday. You all have that. I'm just not going to get beyond that. The Department of Justice is independent, as you know. They're doing a review, and I want to be prudent here. And it would be more appropriate. It would be more appropriate for my colleagues in the White House counsel's office to address this.
Then we walk into the briefing room and we.
Have you lost your damn mind?